Hey y'all.
Welcome back.
Welcome
This week
back.
we're gonna do some Loosies. So
Yeah. First of all, we're Black and Curious. I'm Kandron.
yes, totally forgot. I'm Dehjai and I am drinking.
We're both drinking. We actually, right before little story time, real quick, right before we started recording, we were both kind of like, just kind of easing into the chair, like, Lord, girl, we're running late. We already 10 minutes late, 15. Girl, what's our topics? Like, we were just dragging our little heels, and Dehjai has a little tickle in her throat. And so I was like, why don't you go get some tea? And I was like, and I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to make it a toddy. So that's what we're having today.
Okay. So what is your toddy? Mine is a little different.
Mine is, what is that company? The Yogi tea, mango ginger. With a splash of Jack honey. You know I'm gonna give it a little razzle. A little razzle dazzle, honey. So we're doing hot toddies. What are you having?
I have to get that tea, by the way. So please send me like a snapshot so I can see if I can find it. I have
It's at Whole Foods. I ordered it on Whole Foods.
Oh, go ahead. Good looking out. I ordered that today. So today, because I have this bit of a tickle, I am actually drinking a golden milk latte, but it's my own blend. So I blended the spices together to make it, but I threw in some crown vanilla because of that damn tickle in my throat. Oh, yeah. So, yes. If you see me dabbing a little bit, because it's a tad a little warm in here, so bear with me.
It's like lights plus brown liquor.
Girl, and she don't drink the brown liquor at all.
You keep saying that, but every time we record, it's like, girl, I don't drink the brown liquor, but here I am with the crown vanilla.
Did I have? Oh, I did.
You did,
because we were on live. Yes, girl, I think I was drunk that day.
I think it was recorded. Was it live? I don't remember. Anyways, it was some bougie, freshly juiced apple shit. I will pop up that video. I'll put it in the card so you guys can see that video.
Yes, I did, because I was like, oh, I don't have no mix. So I went in there and used the juicer to
You certainly did. You certainly did. And I was like, good God, I'm bougie, but that is bougie. So
I mean, hello, we came together as a former brand of the bouginess. So I don't know if we should ever say what the name is. Well,
I kind of wanted to just now, but I'm gonna refrain.
I totally stopped myself too. So just God forbid. Backstory before we get into the meat of the conversation today. We absolutely had a previous podcast. I think we've mentioned it before.
Yes.
And
I'm in the process of wiping it off of the face of the planet, but yes, we did.
I don't think you can find it on the SoundCloud anyway, because once I did the whole like once I did the whole ending, I think it was just what was left, but we can lock those episodes.
It's a few episodes. It's like 3 episodes.
Okay. Because they delete stuff anyway after a certain amount of time if you're not paying for the service.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
But yes, the brown liquor does seem to make me a little loose-lipped, so I'm gonna try my damnedest to behave today.
Yes, and that's why we're starting here. Okay.
Let me get this water.
Why we still have inhibitions? Okay. All right. Would you like to introduce today's topic?
So, oh, well, wait a minute. Did we introduce ourselves? I feel like I might be a little buzzed.
We absolutely did.
Okay, moving along.
I slowed the quote down to introduce ourselves and tell what we are drinking, but go ahead.
Okay, we'll cut this part out.
Will we?
No, I'll leave it in because it's funny. I'm crazy. This is what it is. Okay, so today we're talking about married friends versus single friends, and whether or not the two should mix. And so what I mean by that is I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about whether or not I should invest more time in having relationships with my married friends, because that's something that I aspire, right? So I ultimately want to be married. And so I believe it's the similar principle of like that saying, if you are hanging around a bunch of people that are broke, then you too will also stay broke. And so when you change the setting, the people that are around you, that also lifts you, which is like the other saying of like a tide rises all boats, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying like I need to spend more time with my married friends because this is something that I aspire to. And so I need to like do a little bit of immersion in the sense of like asking the right questions. How did you know? What do you love most about marriage? What is different from being married versus dating versus single? Like all the things. We were having this really good conversation. So I got a bunch of tidbits that I might share with you all at some point. We'll see. So
this reminds me of Charlotte on Sex and the City. Do you remember this episode?
Oh, please don't call me Charlotte.
Not like that, but she was like, I will be spending less time with you ladies because I'm going to be hanging out with my married friends.
I do remember that. I'm like, oh Lord, I am not Charlotte.
No, you're not Charlotte, but it just like, I don't know why that just came to me, but it just clicked. But go ahead.
So I had made the statement, not necessarily in jest, but just kind of like I was still talking to my friend, was like, no, like really you should, like married people should be with married people and single people should be with single people, in the sense that it's easier when you are single to pick up and go and run and do, versus those of my friends that are married, they can't really do that so much because they do have to be accountable, I guess is the word, to their partner. And then if they have like children, then they also have to worry about that. So it's easier to do things as a married couple with married couples who have children, or with just married couples in general, so that you don't have to be out in the world as just like a single person and maybe like pretending to be not married, I guess. I don't know. I
think it really just meant like, sometimes it feels weird to like always be leaving your partner at home when you're out with your friends. Like you have friends in common and you have people that you share in common. So I kind of get that, but I definitely think just in friendships in general, there's something to be said for having different types of them.
Yeah.
Having different types of friends. So yeah, it's just like your friends, your core group of friends, or whoever you've met along the way, they're always going to evolve differently from you. So, you have to evolve and you have to keep growing. But I also think, and I know we've mentioned this in the past, like you can't just like leave your whole everything behind. Like, no, you're not one of these, you're not married, you don't understand, so I'm not going to hang out with you anymore. Like it kind of there has to be a balance.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what my friend was trying to express to me, like not saying that I'm someone that will be wanting my married friends to be out partying and carrying on and trying to find a man, because like, no, you're already married, you've already found your partner. But they were just kind of like, once you are in a committed relationship of that magnitude, when you're out with your single friends, like the environment is different because your single friend is potentially still looking to mix and mingle, and that's not really what, as a married person, you are looking for anymore. So like your paths have kind of separated, kind of like you were just saying.
Yeah.
And so I think that maybe I missed the point of stating that like my desire to surround myself with more married people was not so much that like I'm looking to change their dynamic. It's more so that I'm looking to be in that dynamic with my own partner, right? So I spent a lot of time asking like questions, both of my friend and then also like when we were together, like as the little family unit, just asking questions about things that I just don't know because I'm a single person. And so like I got a lot out of the conversation, but I just, that nugget of like, no, married friends should be with married friends and single friends should be with single friends, I was just kind of like,
I get it in the sense of, if you take it out of the context of it being, I guess, marriage or whatever, it's like how do I put this? When I was in law school, I hung out with other people who were in law school or who had other things that were like, okay, they had to commit to studying, they had to commit to, focusing their time certain ways. Like that is who I hung out with by necessity. And that those are the people who understood me in that space in my life, right?
Yeah.
So I had to, listen, time is not infinite. Like we all know that. And so I had to reallocate some of the time that I was spending with other people to focus on this endeavor that I was in right now.
Mm-hmm.
The same for, working when I'm working a 9 to 5, right? So my other friends or my work friends are people that I hang out with all the time, and like they get it, they understand. So that, like by necessity, I've gotten a separate group of friends for that. And by necessity had to pull some of the time from that, right?
Yeah.
But so I get what she's saying in terms of like different spaces in your life require different sets of friends and require you to be like intentional about that.
Right.
So, and the biggest thing for me is just that even though I have these other sets of friends, I don't leave other people behind, like I might not reach out to you daily. And that's something that those are like growing pains, I guess, for me and my best friend. Even like she got married a long time ago, and was in a relationship, and then she had kids and all of this stuff. So our relationship has had to evolve as she's needed time for her kids, and she's made more friends that have families and stuff like that. Like our relationship has had to evolve. So whereas before, like we used to talk to each other every day, and then it was like once a week. Now it's like twice a month, but like with a check-in in between, like, hey, are you good? Like we talk to each other every week on purpose of saying like, hey, are you okay? Are you good? And then we may have one conversation 30 minutes to an hour every other week where we catch up. So it's like these are the things that they just naturally have to evolve. Some people put more hard, deadline, like more like, well, that can't be the case. And I don't,
hard limits,
hard limits on it. And I don't know if it has to be that way, but it, it has to evolve. Like it has to evolve. If you're still hanging out with people who are, I don't say single, but some people, even when they're married, they still like to be out at the club. If you're not a clubber, then like you have to find something else to do with them, or that friendship may fizzle out,
Yeah. And I think like maybe I was jarred by that comment more so because of the experiences that I've had with other married people as a single person.
Yeah.
And like how they have rallied around their friends regardless of married and single.
Yeah.
And then just the fun, the conversations, the experiences that we've had, but also these people too, I think everybody is different. Like every union is different. And so
Definitely.
how you show up in the world as a couple and as singles, it varies. And so like I'm thinking of one couple in particular, but like when I met them, I met the husband and we were all at a bar. We was out drinking. We was having a good time, getting toe up. Okay. But he talked about his wife and he told us, that he was married and like where they were from and all this other stuff. And like he had a friend with him who also was trying to foolery, but he was also married, but he was the friend that like my friends were like, no, you don't want that friend. Right. Exactly. He was the nigga that you catch to give the side eye. Okay. So 100% messy and old boots with the Beijing.
Oh, come on, sir. Have a seat.
Let me sip my tea.
Sound like you need to, Cheryl. Goodness.
So, but like this other friend and his wife, I'm trying to make sure I don't say people's names here.
For the best.
When I finally met her, it was like, she was like, oh yeah, he told me about you. He said you was so funny, blah, blah, blah. And she was cool as hell. And so like, we all ended up like every so often all being out at the bar, having a good time. down to like I have photos with these people, but like they're not, I won't say that like these are like close friends at this point because I haven't seen them in years.
Yeah.
And mostly because of the pandemic at this point.
Right.
But like having conversations with them in passing about being married and being single, they just kind of, and they were also older than we were. So older than both myself and my married friends. And so they were just kind of like, you know, you get to a place in life where you realize that like I still got to have a life outside of my partner. Absolutely. And I'm gonna still respect the vows of my relationship, but I'm still be out here with my friends. And so like, and that was what the husband had said. And then the wife later followed suit and was just kind of like, yeah, girl, like whatever, he gonna do him and that's fine. Mm-hmm. And then like he told me about y'all. So like, and that he like, and you came up to me like, cause I was like, oh, such and such, I heard about you, blah, blah, cause he showed me pictures and everything. I'm so excited to meet her. So you know me, I can be a little much if you don't know. But she already had, shut up. We was drinking, okay? Yeah. You know, she's a little colorful. Anyway, but like she'd already, I think we had taken pictures and stuff at the bar, like having a good time, people being drunk, you know, oh, let's take a selfie. Foolishness. So, but she knew who I was and she was just kind of like, yeah, like she mentioned that her husband was just kind of like, yeah, like Dehjai is always super like, back up, he's married, you know? And so she was like, yeah, I like you. Hello? Like, because the thing is, he introduced himself as such and carries himself as such. Mm-hmm. And we still were able to hang out like there was nothing different. That's the point. Just because they were married, it didn't make a difference. I could hang out with either one of them and we could still kiki and have a good time. And it wasn't no tomfoolery. Now his friend with the Beijing, on the other hand, was something else.
You should have led with the Beijing. I do think it matters, like when you have small kids, because
that definitely makes a difference.
And I think like with small kids, that's obviously also an opportunity to meet more people because there's play dates, there's birthday parties, there's this, there's that. And it's like your single friends are not going to care and they don't want to go to the birthday party. I don't want to go to the birthday party. You don't want to go to the birthday party.
Listen, we're not show up and bring the gift.
We're going to show up. We're going to give the gift. We're going to give the few dollars. We'll be the auntie sliding the, you know, 20, 30, 50,
there you go.
$100, depending on the age, honey. And be like, okay, girl, it's good to see you. You're getting so big. And go. But you gotta have friends that are in that same space. And like you're saying, your other friend who was a little bit more open, they were older. So it's like maybe they're past that point in their life where their whole world revolves around like whatever children they have, or if they don't have kids, this may be different.
I don't think they did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could be different too, like for people who are married but don't ever, you know, who choose not to have children or don't have children for whatever reason. It's like, like you're still essentially two individuals. So it's like, I think it's important to embrace the phases of life that you're in and make those friends, but also like not leave anybody behind. If those people are important to you, some people need to be left behind, show. And we
have left some.
Hello, somebody. Okay.
Toodaloo.
But you know, I think there's a way of being intentional about your connection and intentional about the people that you care about to, you know, stay in relationship with them. It may not be as it always was before, but if it's a relationship that's important to you, I don't think it should matter whether you're single, married, whatever. You just have to adjust.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what my friend was saying in general. And like, and I cannot speak for my friend, right? So, but like my understanding of the conversation was just kind of like, no, like things are different for me now that I didn't necessarily expect, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what, I could see that.
Yeah.
Like, and like, I think that they were also kind of saying like, there were things that they expected, but then there are things that like you just get hit with while you're immersed in this environment.
Right. And this is helping them to also learn and grow. And they're probably helping, you know, some of the friends who have been married, I don't know, 15 years or whatever are probably helping them to grow, and then they're helping the people who have been married 2 years, you know? So it's like,
for sure.
It's those type of relationships, and it's important.
Like the thing that I'll say is like, I love this friend dearly for the fact that like almost any question that I asked in relation to this sort of thing, like dating and marriage and all that kind of stuff, they were super open about. And so like, awesome. I was just like, okay, well, since I have free reign, and not that I was like trying to get all in the business, but it was just like, you know, you want people to feel comfortable and not like they're being interviewed. And so like, and I just had made it clear, like, this is where I am. So like, and they asked me questions about like what my experiences were in terms of what it was that I wanted. And the thing that almost had me stuck, honestly, and maybe we can have them come on and talk about this too, was they asked me, well, why is it that you want to be married? Like, why? And I was just
good
like,
question.
It's not so much for me having the title of being a wife. I don't care about that. I want to have my forever partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I look forward to having that union with someone.
Yeah.
And so like that was my reasoning, but they were still asking me, well, why? What is it about where you are currently, and how you're living currently that would be different if you were partnered? And I was like, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. So right. I don't really have an answer for that besides the one that I had given. I've been a forever single person, in my opinion, even if people thought that we was like, it was never serious enough for me to be like, you know, this is my partner. Mm-hmm. Like I've never taken anybody home to meet mom and dad.
Right.
And primarily because I don't believe in doing that. I had a sibling, or excuse me, let me correct my language. I have a alleged sibling who used to do all that kind of stuff. So every person that they were seeing, they would bring home to mom and dad for like some sort of approval. And I'm like, child, I'm not doing that.
I don't believe in that. But maybe that's a separate conversation we can have as the Loosie.
Knocking this computer with this cup.
But yeah, I don't believe in that either. I don't. But I have cousins and, you know, other people in my family who have, and they're comfortable with it and they're fine with it. And my family is happy to meet you and happy for you to move on if that doesn't work out.
Like, I just don't see the point.
I don't either. I'm with you. I don't
like if you are a make me like, I saw this tickety talk, whatever you want to call it. The thing for the children, okay? Where this lady was talking about when do you show that you're in a relationship or when do you make it public or whatever. And so she threw up her wedding ring and bands and was like, this is when.
This is when. Yeah.
And I was like, it makes a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know that I would do that to my family. We just had a
conversation about that too. We have a Loosie about that. That's going up in the cards, people. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. I'll pop it up in the cards.
But like, for real, like, I've had conversations with my mom, like only in the last 2 years that she realized that I wasn't interested in having kids. Because like, this is not, you know, who I'm seeing and what's going on. It's nobody's business but mine. If I want to tell you about it, I will. And I am like a very transparent person, but like when it don't matter, it really don't.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. So anyways, I think we've covered that topic.
Yes.
Okay.
So let us know your thoughts on being married versus single. Shout out to all of our married couples. Please give us advice. I am looking for advice. So whatever you want to share with me, I am willing to read. Drop us some comments.
Let us know what you think down in the comments about, you know, should married people and single people be friends? We should have done this angle. Let's wait a minute. Let's rewind a little bit.
We never really be leaving when we say we're leaving.
Okay, right. Okay. Married people, single people, we've looked at it from the perspective of old friends. What about new friends?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
No. And I can say that from the perspective of a single person who met someone who was married who really wanted to be friends and was male at that. And I was like,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
Like, no. And he was just like, why? Like,
friends. I mean, especially if it's a person of the either opposite sex or, you know, whatever you're into.
No.
Yeah. I think that gets weird.
It does. And like when I was younger, I didn't think anything of it. Now that I am of a certain age, like, no, that's just not a good idea. Because like, how do you explain to your partner, oh, I have this new person that like I've been hanging out with and they're so cool and you're gonna love them. And then your partner, not unless they are like a saint, they usually people are like, well, what, questioning the motives of the new person coming in.
Right. And I think it matters like where you meet the people too, because I think it can be a little easier if you meet somebody, say at work, and you'll be like, oh, I have maybe. But you out, you know, you just out down to the bar, and all of a sudden you tell your partner about this new woman, and you be like, girl, well, who is she?
Like who? What you mean?
What do you mean?
And then like, oh, y'all should meet, y'all are gonna love each other, and the whole time sis is like, who are you, bitch?
Like, should we?
Right. Hello? That part. No thanks. No dice. I'm good.
Yeah, I figured that's what you would say. But anyways, since we had to run that back, let's do our outro again. Find us everywhere. Black and Curious on Instagram, on YouTube, where you should be watching this. Black and Curious on Twitter, and we'll have a website by the time this goes live, blackandcurious.com.
Yes. Can't wait. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.